welcome to Geekshow Arcade.
Tony is trying to save himself from editing time by pressing the button live.
You got that right.
That's efficiency
you got that
right there.
Right.
That's efficiency, Tony.
Hey, laziness breeds invention.
Ingenuity.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a fine line.
That's
It really
right.
is.
So, welcome to Geekshow Arcade, where we talk about video games and video games related things.
Should we start saying video game adjacent?
Oh, I like that.
There
Video
you
game
go.
adjacent things. Well done, Owen. Well done. Let's introduce the panelists. It's Owen. He's got good ideas.
I come up with a few every, I don't know, once a quarter or so.
Quarterly.
Maybe not that even that much. But if you want to not see any of those, because I don't post them on Twitter, you can follow me there at Technoan. That's all.
All right.
Oh, perfect. You flipped me right back to 1998, man. That felt so good right there.
It's Jaren.
Hey, I'm Jaren, coming at you in my car.
Still.
You can find me on
He's been
Twitter
there for 3 days.
Jaren. Yes, I have.
Hardcore. He's a hardcore podcaster.
It gets
Takes a lot.
really cold in here.
Yeah.
I tweeted that I got a Steam Deck OLED, and it'll be here tomorrow, but unfortunately I won't be. So
It's going to sit on your doorstep?
I know.
Well-
I'm going to go pick it up for him.
yeah. And luckily this
when-
episode
You're gonna-
won't release until after Tony picks it up. So
That's true.
Tony, you should do an unboxing video.
I do. Oh, you
I'm
should do a
thinking
crotch
about
rubbing,
it.
a crotch rubbing video. We haven't had one of those, and it'd be fitting.
yeah.
It'd be fitting for you to do it instead of Jaren, like he used to do to Artec.
It doesn't excite me like it does him.
But it would hurt Jaren.
I don't
That's
thi-
really the point.
No, I
No,
think he'd be
no,
okay
it would
with
excite
In
me.
fact,
Yeah.
he might
Oh,
like it.
what?
I'm into it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that turned in a direction I did not expect it to go, and now I don't want it to happen because it makes Jaren happy.
Yeah, I don't want that.
Owen's brain crashing right there. All right, it's Lando.
Hey, it's Lando. I love you guys. Thanks for listening. And we have a host. His name's Tony.
Hey. Check me out on Twitter at
Oh,
Quad
wait,
T
hold on. Back to me
Tony.
for a second. I wanted to make sure everyone knows who I am. My name's Lando, not the other guy. I am an official panelist. I am here.
Larry?
Sorry,
Larry.
back to Tony.
Logan.
I just want to clear that up. Getting a lot of crap for that lately.
Okay.
I want to make sure I'm not, not just the other guy, not Larry.
Back to me.
It's Lando.
Back to me.
Sorry, Tony. I just stole that right back.
That's okay. Check me out on Twitter at Quad T Tony or on other Geek Show podcasts. All right. Let's see. Emails.
That's you, Tony.
Yep, that's me.
Card Jaren does
and-
not have them.
Did we read that one already? Yes, we did. But we have this one. Oh, that's the wrong button.
Oh,
no.
Oh, no, Tony.
All
We
right.
should go back to post editing. It's much more professional.
I just got to get used to it. It's the first time, no big deal. It's okay.
It doesn't feel. It feels like a big deal.
It's
to
okay.
me.
Just
It's
ride on
okay.
Ride
I
on like
said-
an old person.
I
right on the
said
button.
it's okay. Yeah, they're too far away. I can't read them very well.
Color.
All right, let's see. Is this still going? It's still going. Okay, that's a long one.
You can't stop it once you start it.
I accidentally put it on restart every time I push the button, not a toggle. So that is a problem I will have to address.
That's a future Tony problem.
That's right. But for
Screw
now,
that guy.
there we
we
go. All right. We have an email here from Not Lang. Let's see. He titled this "Dear Help Desk Friends and Other." This is Arcade. Twyman.
Again,
sir.
I exist, guys. I am here.
Maybe he didn't know. Is it the
And
is it
other.
the same email that he? Because
No, this is
You're
different
the
email.
other.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, Larry's the other over here. Says, as some of you know, I collect old tech. This is very true. Along my quest to acquire, I've realized I also have a passion for odd peripherals. Most are probably familiar with the Power Glove and the Power Pad for the NES. But what about the Laser Scope? Which was a headset you
that?
wear and yell fire when you want to shoot.
Yes. What?
Fire! Fire! Or how about the U-Force, which looks similar to a laptop, and by doing hand motions in the air over it, you could control a game, like throwing punches in Punch-Out. Oh my
I wonder what your
gosh.
neighbors thought of that.
Well, they'd have to be in the house to look at it.
Or your family members, I mean.
Yeah.
Right? What is
Yep.
he doing over there?
Says, I also recently discovered there was a keyboard option for the Rock Band game, which previously I thought just had guitars, drums, and microphones. Which leads to my question. Have you come across any gaming peripherals or system add-ons you thought were odd or unique? Thanks, friends, and obligatory courtesy nod to other.
Obligatory.
Larry.
Obligatory.
This joke is not
You know,
fun for me.
so I just went and Googled that. I was like, I didn't even know that's a thing, but I just went and Googled that. There's a fishing rod for the Dreamcast.
Oh, yeah.
And-
that was sold with
and
Seaman.
The Dreamcast
No.
had
That was
so
sold-
many weird
That
crap.
was sold with
Yeah.
that was sold with Bass Fishing. With Seaman, you got a microphone that plugged into the controller, so you
Yeah.
could talk to your Seaman.
And then the Game
Or
Boy
if you
had
have
a
more
camera
than
and
one,
printer.
If you had more than one, it was Seaman.
Oh.
I
Yeah.
loved the Game Gear peripherals. They had a magnifying glass that you clipped onto the screen,
Game
and
Boy
it made
had
that
too.
horrible screen just
Even worse.
magnified. Even worse, yeah.
Bigger.
But Game Gear also had a really cool one called the Master Gear Converter, and it allowed you to play Sega Master System games on the Game Gear itself. So you put it in the Game Gear cartridge, and you put the
Oh,
Master
that's
System
cool.
game in that converter. And I swear I had one, but I cannot find it anywhere in my parents' house.
Oh, that's so sad.
Dang it.
I might just have
Nintendo's-
bad memory.
Nintendo's Rock and Roller gives the player's hands rest so their feet can flourish.
Oh my gosh.
It's like a Dance Dance Revolution thing.
Well,
and-
that's the thing is if you go look up peripherals for the NES, there were far more than we remember. There was Rob the Robot
Rob
for the
the
Yeah.
NES.
Robot.
yeah.
You know, and all he did was spin a top and set it on the button. So the button was depressed.
Yep.
Like that's all he did.
That's all he did.
if I remember
Rob,
correctly.
R-O-B.
ROB. Yep. My thing that I always thought was freaking rad, and I never got one because the first system I had was the N64, but the on the SNES, the Super Scope, which was the big shoulder
yeah.
laser
Oh,
bazooka.
yeah. I
Yeah.
forgot about that.
I saw the ads for that, and I always thought that is the coolest thing I've ever seen. You have a bazooka to play on your Super Nintendo. That
The
was
one game that
I-
supports it.
Yeah, there's like one or two games that support it, but that was the one I was always like, man, that's cool. So I was always a big fan of the light guns as well. I thought the fact that you can't do it anymore because you have to have a CRT for the real experience, a CRT monitor or TV. But the light guns I thought were so dang cool.
We had
Just
one
in
for
general.
Master System. It was fun until
What
it
about-
wasn't.
What about Resident Evil 4's chainsaw controller? Did
Oh,
you
I
guys ever-
couldn't believe they actually. When I saw that, I thought, oh, it's just a prop. You know, you get a cool
No.
prop. No, it's the controller.
PlayStation, yeah, PlayStation 2 and GameCube got that one.
Oh man,
That is-
speaking of, here's a quick little quiz. Can you tell me what system this startup is from?
PlayStation?
PlayStation 1. Yeah. I love this startup sound.
Yeah, it's great.
It's just so
Another great
mystical
peripheral.
sounding.
Another great peripheral for the Dreamcast was, I think, just a keyboard for the game Typing of the Dead.
Typing of the Dead.
Remember that?
baby.
Speaking of the
Yeah.
dead. It's amazing.
Yeah, you can play it. You can get that on PC now, on just on Steam. So, yeah, a lot of unique stuff out there, and it seems like it kind of died off as consoles matured, which
Right.
is
Yeah.
understandable. But also, a lot of these peripherals were just one note,
Gimmicks.
gimmicks. So
They don't even do Rock Band anymore. I loved Rock Band.
I loved Rock Band so much.
that was
Yeah,
the
it was so
ultimate
good.
peripheral game for sure.
Yeah.
I've always felt like Virtual Boy was just a peripheral in and of itself.
It was its
Even the-
own system,
Even though
own games.
it was its own system, but it always just
Didn't-
felt like a
and
peripheral.
And the Game Boy at one point had a printer and camera, right? That you could
Yeah,
like,
Game Boy camera and Game Boy
Yeah.
printer for
It was-
sure.
The
Yeah.
SNES had a mouse to do like some sort of like MS Paint thing. Remember that? Like draw
I
something.
do, yes, actually, yeah. I think the
The
coolest
printer,
game,
I think too. Actually,
the coolest Game Boy peripheral was not Game Boy, sorry, GameCube peripheral was a peripheral that latched onto the bottom of the GameCube, and you could play Game Boy Advance games and Game Boy games on your TV.
Really, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was cool.
I thought you were going to say the bongos from that Donkey Kong
Oh,
rhythm
yeah.
game.
I mean, you had
Right.
that either the bongos or you had Samba de Amigo maracas.
Yeah.
That was
My
on-
brother had the bongos. It was
Yeah.
a fun game.
There you go. All right, very cool. Thanks for writing in, Twyman. It's always interesting what you have to say and what kind of old tech you're messing with. Let's see. Stories this week. This is pretty cool, and if you didn't know, then it's time to get edumacated. Half-Life turns 25 this year, specifically this last couple weeks, I think, was its actual anniversary.
And Valve is doing something special with it. They updated the original game on Steam, so now it's Steam Deck compatible. It works with controllers. I
Oh,
loaded it up on my Ally, works great. It supports widescreen resolutions. I think they updated the UI, so it's sharp.
I'm surprised they did this because you already have a much better version of Half-Life with Black Mesa. And
Different. It's a different version
It's
of
the s-
Half-Life, and
it's the
Valve
same-
didn't make it themselves.
right, but they what do you call it? Blessed it. Well, you know, they
They
said,
they
you know,
they did.
They sanctioned it.
yeah, they sanctioned it and
But
allowed it to be
it's-
sold on
I mean,
Steam.
Black Mesa, yeah, it's cool, but there's something about the original, in my opinion, especially if you played it back in the day like I did. I loved that game when it came
Oh,
out.
it's seminal. I mean,
Yeah.
there is nothing out there at the time. There was nothing out there like it, and I think
Yeah.
it really just kicked off the genre.
Even cooler, they have an hour-long making of Half-Life documentary on YouTube. Very well done. I've seen about half of it so far. I'm going to finish it over the next couple of days. But super interesting how Valve just started. It was such like a scrappy company at the beginning. Like none of them had gaming experience at all, and they went on
gosh.
to become a behemoth in the industry. It's pretty cool.
But yeah, Gabe Newell came over from Microsoft. He was like a Windows engineer
Yeah,
or something like
the
that.
the two
you know?
founders came over from Microsoft.
Yeah.
One of them was talking to Gabe, and he's like, "Hey, I want to start a gaming company. Want to come? Okay,
Sure.
Cool.
why not?"
The first Half-Life game was based on a heavily modified Quake 2 engine. So the original Half-Life game. And then they started coming out with their own engines after that.
Yeah, and in the documentary, they had friends at id, and they're like, "It's like, hey, why don't you fly out?" And they walked away with the Quake 2 engine source code that day without any contract or anything.
Oh, man.
Just like gaming development, it was so different back then compared to now.
Right.
Yeah. Wow. That's cool. Well, there you go. Good stuff
And
right there.
To celebrate, everyone should play Half-Life Alyx if you can. It is ties for my favorite game of all time.
Wow.
Such a good game.
What's your other favorite game of all time? Seaman?
Elden Ring.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Are you serious?
it is so good.
With this nonsense right now?
Now's
Elden
the
Ring
na-
and Half-Life Alyx.
Now's the time,
Fantastic
too.
games.
now's the time too. You know, Steam's fall sale just kicked off as
Yeah,
it's
I
recorded
think
just today. So
I think it's
they got-
$20.
They
Half-Life
got
Alyx.
half. They've got a $20, 66% off. So it's not a bad deal. There's a bunch of games that I'm interested, like $30 for Cyberpunk 2077. That kind of hits my
Well,
price. You know,
speaking of which, actually, Cyberpunk 20 or CD Projekt Red today announced Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition.
I saw that.
And so it's got all the DLC and everything in one for PC, PS5, or Xbox. What makes this? Everyone knew something like this was coming. They always do this. All the big companies, when they have really successful games with DLC, they always eventually do a game of
bundle.
the year, or whatever, Ultimate Edition. But what makes this one unique is on the Xbox version, everything is on the discs. It's a 3-disc set, and it's got the DLC. It's got all the updates up to this point. It's got everything on those 3 discs. So
You have all the discs. They're great.
all the discs. You know it. I know it. Everyone knows it. And none of the
They're
other
the best
platforms.
discs.
None of the other. Well, they are actually, because the PS5 or the PC doesn't have everything on physical media. This is the only way to get that entire game on physical media would be to buy the Xbox 3 or the Xbox 360. What year is it? The Xbox Series X version, which is pretty
Crazy.
cool because they just don't do that anymore. Now, whenever you buy something, it's got like the base game. And if it's a Game of the Year edition, it'll have the base game usually with like the updates, but then the DLC is a code or something that you have to put in and download.
Right.
You don't usually get it in a physical
Well, I don't
disc.
understand what the draw would be for a physical disc unless you're a collector, like-
collector.
Collectors,
Exactly. Yeah.
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 And then, you're basically hedging your bets there that if anything ever happened and you weren't able to access the servers or the internet or whatever, you could still play the full game on your discs. So
I really like how Tony hijacked Owen's only story.
back to you, Owen.
Oh, I was just asking the question if you guys. Yeah, I was just asking the question if you guys had like the fall sales starting. Are there any games that are on your radar that have dropped below your good deal limit? So
Anything I'm interested in, I add to my wish list on Steam. I have 71 titles on my wish list.
You get emails whenever they go down, like they're on sale too, right?
That's why I like it.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't do that.
You get
you don't
notified.
use the wish list? The wish list is
I
great for
don't.
collecting Pokemon.
like God of
Steam
War,
games.
God of War,
Yeah,
God of
same
War,
thing,
40
Lando.
$40 or $30. God of War, the new Final Fantasy remake, Intergrade, $35. So I don't know a lot of these titles.
I might grab
but
that one. I might grab that one. I had a really good time with Final Fantasy VII remake, the first part. So I might grab Integrate.
the whole Master Chief collection, $10 right now.
That is a
$10?
great deal.
That's
That
a great
is-
75% off for that one. So, but yeah, there's Spider-Man remastered, $36. Spider-Man Miles Morales, $30. So
Great games.
if there's a bunch of games, if you go to the Kotaku article I've got here posted in the notes, they just have a bunch of games that are
highlights.
some highlights that are on there. So now's the time if you're I mean it almost seems like there's always a sale going on at this point. I think you mentioned, Green Man Gaming. I think you mentioned that in Help Desk. Green Man Gaming, all the other ones are running their sales as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, Steam by far they've been doing it longer, right?
Forever. Yeah.
So, and you look at the dates for the fall sale. It's like until December something, and literally like the next week the winter sale starts. Like it's just like
I feel like it used to be, it felt like it was actual fall, like October,
right, yeah.
September, but they just have pushed it back so far.
And I
now.
feel like they got them so close because they want to get the whole holiday season. They want people that are coming out for Black Friday
right.
to feel like, because this feels like a Black Friday type of sale, right?
I think you're right.
And then Christmas time comes around. They want to catch all the people doing Christmas presents and get in on that. So, but yeah, it's go check out the games. If you've been looking or wanting a game to add to your backlog, like I do, because like I don't play anything but Baldur's Gate, then you can do that.
Let me put a little plug
Is
in
Baldur's
here
Gate on sale?
I don't see it on this list.
Diablo
Oh,
4 is
dang
on
it.
sale. If you wanted to get on that, $42. That's 40% off.
I think that's the
That's
best
not
price they've
bad.
had it yet
Yeah.
on that. Let me put a little plug in here for a game on this list called El Paso Elsewhere, which is an indie game that I played the demo for, and I think it has a demo still up for it, but it was during the Steam Next Fest. It is like between PlayStation and PlayStation 2 graphics, but it's third person Max Payne style game with the bullet time and everything done very, very well. And you fight like werewolves and vampires and stuff like that. It's good. And it's only like $15 right now.
Yeah.
$16.
Sounds cool.
Check out El Paso Elsewhere. Really neat game.
Like
I want to
it's like
pick up.
Go ahead.
Someone go.
I'll go. I want to
Go.
pick up Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom for $7.
Oh, there you
So-
go.
Great 2D Zelda. Like
I'm surprised you don't have that already.
So
I have
know,
it on Switch, but I never play my Switch anymore, so I got to get it for the Steam Deck.
So I know Tony and Jaren aren't as close to the people as me and Lando because you're not on TikTok. But
I can't. I think you're trying to insult me, but I just can't.
I'm just pointing out a fact. You're just not as close to the people, and it's fine. You're
the
not
fact
living
that it's
in
about
the front.
TikTok. I don't feel insulted.
You're not living in the front wave. You're right behind. You're on Reddit. It's fine.
You're getting
Anyway,
your TikToks from Instagram, which is always like 5 days late.
right. It's fine. You're still you
Oh,
get there.
he's right.
And because all you're doing is watching TikToks on other platforms, but the new thing is to you screwed me over. You laughed at my joke. Now I don't remember what I was gonna say.
Sorry, man. Sorry, Owen. I didn't. Wait a minute.
It's gone. That's literally what just happened. I literally can't remember the point I had about talking about TikTok anymore.
Take a drink of something every time I play that noise. This episode.
Speaking of sales, this one isn't on Steam because it's an Epic Game Store exclusive, but Alan Wake 2 is 33% off right now.
I'm a little miffed because I paid more for that game, and I haven't even played it yet.
And the game was only $50 to begin with.
I was going to say, on the other hand, I don't feel bad because Remedy deserves the money. They've created consistently awesome games for a long time, and they only charged $50 for this game new, so I don't actually feel that bad. But
yeah, you have to use a coupon, but still playing that game. I'm like 10 hours into it. Like I said before, one of the best games of the year. It's fantastic.
I've started the Control DLC to get ready for Alan Wake 2, but I'm on the other DLC, Foundation. That's cool. Yeah. It's really cool. So then I'll do the Alan Wake DLC and finally move on to Alan Wake 2. Alan Wake 1, I played that last week.
It's a game.
It's a game. The story and the atmosphere and everything is very cool. There's no denying that. But the gameplay gets pretty old by the time you finish
It's fun at first, but once you're like halfway through, it's like, all right, I've done this like 50 times before.
And there were certain aspects of the gameplay that just made me mad. In that every time a cutscene happened, almost every time a cutscene happened, after the cutscene was over, you didn't have any guns or anything afterwards. It was like the cutscenes remove all of your stuff, and you have to go find the pistol again, and go find the shotgun again, and go find ammo and a flashlight. And it's like, I've never seen someone have the worst Butterfingers than Alan Wake. He just drops everything all the time.
Well, he's also panting like crazy all the time.
he runs 8 steps. I mean, he's like us. He runs 8 steps and he gets
close
out
to
of
reality.
breath.
Yeah,
I can
seriously.
understand that. So, all right. Let's see. Let's talk about. Do your Backbone V2 review, Jaron. This is interesting.
Backbone, the controller that you can use with an iPhone or Android device, they announced a V2 a couple weeks ago, and the V1, I've had 2 versions. One I returned. The other one, I've had it for so long, I just need to get rid of it at this point because it's Lightning, and I don't have a Lightning phone anymore. Anyway, they announced a V2, and it made almost all the improvements I wanted in the Backbone. Namely, you can use a case with it, because that was such a hindrance to the original Backbone and any other phone controller I've used.
Yep.
Because if I'm taking off my case, that's like, 20 seconds of effort. And it's a pain, right?
It's almost as bad as having to look up the
Right?
username
Looking
and
up past.
password.
Dang it, I was going there. It's right where I was going.
Friction's a real thing.
Yeah, man.
No, like it sounds like a small thing, but
Well,
when you have to do it, it's like it's not worth it.
It's different with this.
What did we say, Lando?
No, it's different with this because then you have two things in your hand, and what are you gonna? You have to do something with the case while you play, and then remember
you have
put
to
the case
set it
back
down
on when you're
and-
done.
Exactly.
And,
It's a huge problem. So anyway, the new
big.
Backbone is it's USB-C only, so it won't work on older iPhones, unfortunately. But it solves the case problem. I have an iPhone 15 Pro Max with a case, and it works splendidly with it. I can just get the phone in there in about half a second, whereas before it took, like I said,
So
like
they just-
30
did
seconds
they
to
just-
a minute.
They just added a little bit more length so it could open wider to accommodate the
They
case.
the little mouth that you put your phone into, it's wider. They have new inserts that you can exchange for larger phones with cases, and it makes the USB-C plug longer, because before the plug
that's
wouldn't
important.
reach
Yeah.
into the case, because the case would block it or reach into the phone. I mean, but other than that, everything else is the same. I'm not a huge fan of the joysticks. They're very Switch Joy-Con like.
Still, even like third
still.
revision. Oh wow.
Second revision. So if you can get over that, I highly recommend it because all the other buttons feel great, and it works with a case. So I recommend it if you guys are okay with the joystick situation.
And one right
But
now you
there's-
can get it for like $70, right?
Yeah, $70.
Yeah. Cool. Well, there you go. Let's see. Let's talk about what?
So we can talk about the thing that's been distracting me for the past, however long I've been talking for, the classic arcade games or classic DOS games in the browser.
Yeah, we talk about that.
Your very first story. Yeah.
So,
I clicked on the link and I've been distracted. Very distracted for the past little while.
yeah, I found this week on Tom's Hardware, and there's a couple of websites out there like this already, like the I think it's just called Game Library.
The Internet Archive also does
Internet
it.
Archive, yeah, it does it. But this is
It's like abandonware, right? Like
abandoned.
stuff
Well,
that-
the abandonware you still have to download it usually and then install it and
Right.
stuff. But this is more like the Internet Archive in that you can just play the game straight on your browser.
In the browser. It's awesome.
Now,
And
the
there's
thing
good
that-
games here, too.
Yeah, and the thing that sets
The original
this apart,
Warcraft.
the thing that sets this apart is these all work with controllers. These are games that
Steam Deck, Jaron.
Yep.
Cool.
these all work with controllers. So before these games were only keyboard and mouse, but whoever's doing this, do they say the name of the people in here doing this? Anyway,
Yeah. Reddit user by the name of... Ooh, where was it?
third paragraph.
Martin something. No, I'm deep in this thing, guys. There's a Reddit I'm on and everything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Martin something is his name. Yeah, it's like
and-
one guy team doing this all himself.
Yeah. And the one interesting thing to keep in mind is they are demos and sharewares. So you don't get, it's not the full game, but if you remember back in the day, some of those sharewares were pretty long. I mean, you got, 10,
Yeah.
15 levels.
If you own the game, can you upload it?
They're trying to get, so
Oh, okay.
it looks like when you're on the games page, there's a button that go buy this on GOG. So I think he's working towards GOG support to buy
That'd
the
be
games.
cool. Yeah.
So, but the list of games here is fantastic. There's the original Warcraft, Jazz Jackrabbit. That's the one I've been playing for a while now.
Oh.
Doom, Wolfenstein 3D, Epic Pinball, Commander Keen 4, The Lost Vikings is on here. Wolfenstein 3D, I mentioned that one already. Command and Conquer.
Heretic.
And not only that, but there's a large list of games that he's planning to bring somewhat soon.
Nice.
Xmas Lemmings is really good. Duke Nukem
Oh,
3D is
I
coming.
had that. I
Mhm.
forgot about that game. That was awesome.
Yep.
Lemmings, yes.
Grand Theft Auto demo, Warcraft 2 shareware, Monkey Island demo, Star Control 2, SimCity,
Oh, Star
full
Control
version.
2. Oh, man.
Prince of Persia demo, and some more Jazz the Jackrabbit. I mean, that's just highlights from the list that I remember.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a cool stuff, and it's so
I might have
easy.
to go play Wolfenstein 3D just out of nostalgia.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, just out,
Do it
just
right
to
now.
Go,
Do it right
just
now.
to go run down the hall looking for secret doors on every wall.
Don't do it right now. We're recording. Lando,
yeah.
stop
Don't be
playing
like
Jazz
Lando.
Jackrabbit.
He's the new Jaren. He's
Yeah, I'm
playing
following
during the
Jaren's
podcast.
example here.
No, you are the new Jaren. How does that feel?
Is it gross? Do you feel gross?
I do feel gross,
Yeah. Okay.
just a little bit.
So it just runs in basically any browser, but he did say specifically it works better on Chromium-based browsers. And
of
on
course it
Steam,
does.
on a Steam Deck, you can actually install Chromium and just have it be its own launcher right there that goes straight to it in the Chromium app. So
Yep.
This is
Pretty
right
cool
up
stuff.
Jaren's alley.
yeah, really, really neat stuff right there. All right. Speaking of old games that need remasters, let's talk about The Last of Us Part 2. Wait,
That's
a
not an
minute.
old game. Hold
Wait
on.
a minute.
Hold on.
When did that game come out anyway?
Like 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
No,
Does
was
it
it
remaster-
Was it only
does-
2 years ago?
I think it was
Does the la-
2020, wasn't it?
September 2022
So
was
No,
the
that-
was the PS5 port, right?
No, that was The Last of Us Part 1 remaster.
Oh, sorry, I didn't read the right paragraph. Well,
So does it make it
talk-
less?
talk
Does it
about the
make it
story.
less sad? Does it make it less sad?
No,
Is
probably
that what
makes
the
it more
remaster does?
sad. I bet
Oh,
it makes
okay.
it more sad. So you go with
So
the
Last of Us
story. I'm
2
gonna
came
look it
out
up.
June 19th, 2020.
Okay,
and-
so it's only been over almost 3 years.
Just over
Almost
This-
3 years.
Yeah.
This leaked late Friday as well during the OpenAI shenanigans. So it's quite the news-worthy Friday afternoon. And so since it was leaked, Sony's just like, okay, fine, we'll announce it.
We'll just talk about it.
So The Last of Us Part 2 remastered, even though the game came out 3 years ago, is coming out on PlayStation 5. And people online are like, this doesn't look any different than the original Last
They're
of Us.
roasting it, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
They're-
seriously, come on.
Yeah. They have added extra stuff to it. Like there's a roguelike mode to it now where they randomize encounters. Yeah, there's like lost levels, meaning stuff that they cut from the game, which so it probably wasn't that good to begin with.
Exactly. And
Putting
they
it
did
back
say,
in.
They did say when they put it back in, it's not going to be fully polished like the rest of the game. They're putting it in kind of raw.
Oh, okay. So they put their C
Right,
team
did you
on
hear
this.
that? Did you guys hear that phrasing? Okay.
They're putting it in raw.
Putting it in kind of raw.
Can you
Phrasing.
explain this to me, please?
No.
After the show's over and we're not recording, Jared, I can explain it to you.
Is this an Ask My Mother sort of thing?
Yes.
Yes.
Go ask
your mom.
Go ask your mother.
Better yet, ask your mother-in-law.
Ask both of them at the same time,
okay.
preferably.
All right. In the same room.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so this game is completely unnecessary. If they announced a PC version at the same time, okay. all
That would
right,
have been something.
Yeah. Or maybe if they took the remastered off of it and
Just said
Can-
for PS5. It's now available
So-
on PS5.
So
can you
they-
upgrade to it if you already own it?
I was going to say
PS5
the one thing they did do right with this is you can get an upgrade to the PS5 quote remastered end quote on the disc or digital. If you have the regular version, it's only $10.
Okay, that's
So-
not bad. They
so-
did something similar with Uncharted when they
Yes.
released it on PS5, but they didn't
Exactly.
call that Uncharted 4 Remastered. I think the problem
No.
here is the word remaster in the
100%.
title.
Right.
Yep,
Yeah.
100%. But they had to differentiate it though because they put out a special version of it for the PS5 already. You know,
They did? What?
that was what I thought. Oh, did they not? I thought they did. Yeah, ever since. Oh, just kidding. I was looking at Last of Us Part 1 again.
It tricked you again.
Tricked me again. Dang it. Oh.
So, January of 2024, it will be released. If you guys want to buy that again.
It'll be released.
I will probably not spend the $10.
There's been more Last of Us remasters than actual Last of Us games.
Has there?
Let that sink in.
Wait,
Yeah.
has there though?
The
So there's been
PS3
two?
version came out on the PS4.
It was its own.
Remember that?
It was a different game, like
Yeah, it was.
a bespoke version of the game for
Uh-huh.
PS4.
Yes, it
You're
was.
right.
And then they
You're right.
released Last of Us Part 1 again as a remaster last year.
Yep.
Now Last of Us Part 2 remaster. Yeah.
So there's
yeah.
been 3 remakes and only 2 actual games.
Remasters.
Remasters.
Tony.
Sorry.
Remasters.
All right.
So
All right. Well, there you go. In other news, gaming related, a good update that's not costing you anything. I mean, this should have been in the game from the beginning, but Starfield finally has its official DLSS update out. You don't have to be in the beta line to use it. It's just a regular update now on Steam. And it's got a whole
And
bunch
they've
of fixes.
increased performance all around, actually. So
Yeah. Yep. It's
Pretty
a good update. So that's pretty much all there is to say about that. I mean, update 1.8.86. So if you haven't, make sure that you update to that if you're playing Starfield and it just runs better. It's great. Okay. So you've been keeping an eye on this too, Jaron, the RetroTink 4K, because I have.
yes.
And I actually follow the guy that's doing this, Mike Chi, I think is his name. I follow him on Twitter. He posts a lot. Like he's been really good at keeping people up to date on his development with this. It's like one guy or a very small team led by one guy that's building these devices.
The RetroTink 4K. Now let's get the price out of the way at the beginning because it's steep.
Wow.
$750.
Yes.
And this device, it has many inputs, and it allows you to input any retro thing up to like the third PS3 and Xbox 360, or even the Switch of today, and output it to a much better picture on modern day TVs.
Without introducing lag.
No lag. Does it keep VRR as well?
Well, first of all, I don't think VRR was in any of those consoles.
Yeah, so probably wouldn't
But
matter then.
no, I don't think it does because it's not needed.
Yeah. So anyway, the idea is to plug any of your old devices into it, and you'll get a much better picture out. It does a lot of awesome things. It upscales the picture. It does CRT emulation, so it will.
Lots of different CRT filters because I don't know if you knew this, but different TVs had different grid arrays for the CRT. So like there was some that were a little more rectangular squares. There were some that were more squares. Like it's crazy. I had no idea until I followed this guy on Twitter how many different CRT looks there are.
And it's not just putting scan lines in there. It's like actually emulating the pixels of a CRT on a 4K display. So it'll make it look really nice. You won't get like the motion persistence from a CRT,
right?
But you'll get the nice, like the nice looks of a CRT for these retro consoles. It also does black frame insertion,
which is great for that motion persistence stuff.
Yeah, the motion clarity. What it does is it inserts a black frame every other frame so that the motion clarity is much closer to what a CRT originally was. Now that's only good if you have a 120 hertz TV, but you wouldn't be buying this if you didn't have a 120 hertz TV. And then it also outputs HDR. So, because normally when you do black frame insertion, it dims the picture considerably. But if you add HDR to it, it compensates for it. So you get like just this awesome picture.
It is really cool what he's done with this. I have his previous version, which was the RetroTink 5X, and it's been awesome. It's been really, really cool for this same kind of thing, but it doesn't have the hardware power to do 4K. And that's part of the reason why this is so expensive. It uses FPGA, a big FPGA chip as its main brain. And the chip by itself is almost $300 for him to buy, like in bulk to put in these. So yeah, it's there's a reason it's $750.
For the later consoles like the Xbox 360 and PS3, it will upscale 720p to 4K sharply.
Wow.
Because like normally modern TVs, they'll just blur a lower resolution picture. This will actually show the actual sharp pixels. It'll do nearest neighbor scaling so that it looks just as crisp now as it did back then on older TVs. So it's like a one size fits all solution. I don't have any retro consoles myself, but this device makes me want to get some just because it exists.
Well, that's the thing. I do have some, and oh man, $750 is a lot.
It's steep.
But what you're getting out of it is also really awesome. And so I definitely am not getting this at launch, but maybe one of these days down the road, I might start socking away my pennies.
When does it launch? When's it coming out?
I don't think they have an official release date yet, but it is soon. He's been sharing pictures of the finished units, getting ready to box up for shipping out and everything. And he said that it won't be a case of pre-order. When it goes live, you're buying it because he has a bunch already that he's ready to mail out. And on the page it says early December. So
to put the price into perspective, like old-fashioned CRT displays that are good displays, they have gone up in price so much.
Oh, massively.
And so I'm not in the market. All I know is that they're expensive. So this may not be such a bad price if you're like really into it and you don't want to get a old fashioned CRT display that's actually good
Right.
quality.
Yeah.
And when you factor in that it works with all your systems, you know, you don't have to
Right.
buy a special one for your Sega, a special one for your Nintendo. Everything plugs into this. You can plug all your consoles into it. It works across the board. So I mean, 750 is steep, but I don't think it's out of the ballpark of what it's actually worth. So
Yeah. Especially if you've got all those old systems and you know you are kind of a game historian in that way. You want to go fritter around, like that's nice.
Yep.
I wonder if it would work on arcade like boxes and stuff to give it that old CRT look.
I don't know. So most of the arcade stuff is emulated on a platform called Mister, and those usually have their own built-in FPGA stuff for scaling and things like that, if I remember correctly. But I mean, the thing about it is if it just uses any of the connectors to go out to a TV from the Mister, yeah, you should be able to use it. You know,
Right.
you should be able to emulate off the Mister and then go through that to upscale. So it supports friggin' S-Video, the RCA cables, I don't think it has coax actually.
They have the
Composite?
like they have the
composite. It's got
Yeah.
composite. It even supports SCART for
Component.
Yep, supports component, has HDMI in, like VGA. It has everything. Like it's crazy. It's really cool. The end.
We're done. Goodbye.
Patreons,
actually-
let's go.
Yep, actually we are done. That was the last story, and we hope you had a good Thanksgiving week or whatever. And we will see you next week. But before we sign off, big shout out to our awesome Patreon backers, patreon.com/gadgetspot. If you donate $6 a month or more, you get a shout out on the air, as well as access to all of our tiers have access to the in-between and the Discord, Patreon channel, and
RSS feed. You know, you get
Yep,
the
our-
no ads, right?
yep, no guaranteed no ads. Is it? Yeah, because you
Yeah,
get the
no
in-between one that I upload.
Yep. Mhm.
So there you go. Who's our awesome $6 tier and higher, Jaren?
David Broshinsky, Connor Keesaw, Wiffle Tony. Thank you guys. Downskilled by Antula, Andy Bird, Be the 8-Year-Old, Travis Johnson. Check out the new Baldur's Gate 3 custom text stickers at Pieman Graphics on Etsy. Jeremy, No Name, No Color, Keslo, Eric Steinman, Eric Cruz, Owen has tech cred, Matt Nelson, Me Speechless Like a Japanese Video Game, ... Josh D, Adam, Aaron Faulkner, Stuart Lloyd, Joe, There's No Place Like G28, X0Y0Z0, Ryan M, and Adam Hecht. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Thank you so much. Okay. We'll see you next week. Owen, take us out.
Hey, we hope you care.